This is the Turkana District most people have heard about, starving people with a ball for begging. This is the Turkana District the world hears about and sees through the eyes of the world media. A world so desolate and hopeless, hard plagued by hunger, fights, starvation, and more hopelessness. But all is not lost. The valiant of the Turkana have taken up the challenges and tried to improve their lives. Turkana District is approximately 700 kilometers from Nairobi and is one of the most remote and dry places in Kenya. Turkana is a harsh place to be born. You have to be hard to survive here. Water is scarce, neither is food available. The sweltering heat makes a visitor to the area start wondering how fellow human beings can survive in such an environment. Common amenities and services that come standard with living in the most of the 600,000 inhabitants of this district. These images can paint a near picture of what it is like to live here. Here, water is precious, very precious. It does not matter in what form. It has to be utilized, and so well. When driving through the sparsely populated district, all one can see are people with jerrycans begging for water, a pitiable situation.
Our biggest problem here is water. When there is no water in this river, then we are in problems. When there is no water here, there is no food.
To clearly understand this, you need to walk around this village and get a feel of the heat, the dust, and the thirst that comes from doing this. The village center was not here 10 years ago, and the semi-permanent structures you see here were once like this, inhabited by people on the move. 20 years ago, this was a desert, inhabited by a few people who were herding their animals next to Kerio River. For the adventurous ones, they were busy trying various crops on the banks, and sorghum was thriving, albeit the challenge of a side dish.
The Turkana people, as their culture, are nomads. Many of them live in different places, but due to the influence of this project, they have settled down.
For
the Turkana, the animal is everything. According to their culture, there's nothing else they look to for their day-to-day living.
Things are different now for the Morulem and Lokubae villages in Lokori division of Turkana District. The small irrigation scheme of 150 acres that was started by the African Inland Church in the 1970s and handed over to the farmers in the early 1980s sought to help the locals shift from dependence on animals to a combination of livestock keeping and agricultural production to realize a more reliable source of food and economic survival. But it could not be sustainable because the people lacked the means and skills to carry on with irrigation farming, hence it fizzled out due to lack of community ownership. With the entry of World Vision into the Morulem and Lokubae villages, a Christian relief and development organization working with communities to improve the lives of children, all this changed because the first task was to train and organize the community members into a strong, united community and create community ownership through the Morulem Water Users Association and presently the Lokubae Water Users Association in the early 1990s.
This project was started through the Africa Inland Church a long time ago. They taught us how to farm, but we did not fully understand what he was teaching. It was complicated to us, but later we understood. The entry of this project has made things easier, and now this is what we depend on.
Hunger made us turn to farming. The Pokots took all my animals, and I was left with only one camel. I thought if I slaughtered it, it won't be enough to feed my family for long, and there won't be any alternatives left for us. I thought I'd rather farm, get money to feed and educate my children.
World Vision International is a Christian relief and development organization working for the well-being of all people, especially children. Through emergency relief, education, healthcare, economic development and promotion of justice, World Vision helps communities help themselves.
A lot of our work is in these arid, semi-arid kinds of regions because that's where there's a lot of poverty, and of course no exception in Turkana. That's been a very, that's just a difficult environment, particularly with the cyclical droughts. The challenge that we've always had is when you engage with relief food in a place like Turkana, how do you not create dependency? And so the whole idea there was to boost food security and to improve household income.
We all know that without these farms we will suffer. These farms are important, and without them we are nothing.
The Morulem Irrigation Scheme was taken over by the World Vision Kenya in 1992. Building on the experiences of the African Inland Church project in Morulem, World Vision was able to sensitize the community on the need to develop the project to benefit them in the long term. To achieve this, the community was mobilized through educating the local populace to join efforts in owning the scheme. The challenges were many and bore a heavy toll on all sides. The main goal of Morulem Irrigation Scheme was to develop a seasonal gravitational feed irrigation scheme to provide the 1,528 farmers with water to irrigate their farms. From 1992 to 2001, 764 acres were developed with the necessary infrastructure, and each farmer was allocated half an acre of land. Farmers had to join hands and construct the 4-kilometer canal from the intake gates to the farthest point on the farm. To ensure the farmers undertook the project with ease, World Vision, with assistance from US aid, provided the logistics to help complete this task. Various wells and boreholes were sunk to provide drinking water for people and livestock. Since the coming of farming developments in this area, the life of children has improved considerably due to the insistence of the World Vision staff on the need for them to go to school. Initially, there was Morulem Primary School, which had about 100 students in 1992. And now, there are 600 pupils, 250 girls and 350 boys with 8 teachers. 2 of them are female. At the same time, a new primary school was constructed in 1997 at Lukwi to cater for the increased number of pupils. The school has a pupil population of 788, 320 girls and 464 boys, with 6 teachers employed by the government and 7 teachers employed by the PTA. There is also the Lokubae Primary School, which has about 400 pupils. Due to increased primary enrollment, a mixed secondary school was constructed at Lokori to cater for the high number of primary school graduates who need to study further. The school has double streams.
Before World Vision came here, there were very few students, but now things are much better. And the students, as you can see, are very many.
The general socio-economy of the people has completely changed for the better. With household incomes rising to $780 from $235, the people have constructed more semi-permanent structures and several market centers having sprung up. Lukwi village now has a market center that boasts of some of the conveniences that are found in most of the major towns.
When the farms are planted, harvested, the parents sell some to take me to school.
With the success of the Morulem Irrigation Scheme, many people migrated to the village and the downstream groups requested World Vision for assistance. Presently, World Vision, together with US aid, is helping the 2,000 Lokubae village farmers develop the necessary infrastructure to enable each farmer to have half an acre to grow crops on. The household incomes of the Lokubae village farmers has also increased from the baseline of $235 to $500, and yet the project has not been handed over to the community. In addition to the irrigated agriculture, public health issues and the environmental conservation was clearly included. More and more people from other parts of the district not covered by the programs are striving to copy what is happening within the Morulem and Lokubae villages. The communal grain store, which acts as a grain bank, has been constructed. The farmers harvest, prepare the grains and take it to the store where it is stored. Each farmer is allowed to get grains from the store when needed. This helps to act as a strategic reserve for the community, ensuring that there is food to last them all the year round. It is the hope of World Vision that this initiative will be able to benefit more people and spread out to this semi-arid region.